Welcome, 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 and thank you so much for joining me. This is Errol Williams once again for another Thursday night tip. I'm so excited to have the opportunity to share with you once again on another topic that is so close to my heart. Focus tonight on our Thursday night tips is on assertiveness. So I'm so excited once again to have the opportunity to share with you. I hope that you've had a fantastic, wonderful, wonderful day and looking forward to the weekend. But before you get to the weekend, there is a 1 hour program for you on assertiveness. So thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate you guys joining me tonight. Appreciate you guys being here. So, as I said, we're going to get started shortly, and everything is going well so far from my end, and we will get started in around 2 minutes time. Just want to make sure that everything is running perfectly for you and as well as for me in terms of sound quality and video quality. So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me, and we will get started in just around 90 seconds time. We've only got 1 hour to go, so we want to actually just spend that time using it wisely. So we will get started in just a moment time. So I hope you guys are having a great day, and looking forward to the session tonight. Maybe if you have any questions or any comment for me, please go ahead and put those in the chat room, and I will be delighted to actually respond to any comments that you may have, whether at Facebook or on YouTube. So you can actually go ahead and put those comments there for me, and I will be more than happy to do so. All right, as I said, we will be getting started, and our focus tonight is on this amazing topic of assertiveness skills, and we will be focusing on that tonight. So get ready. If you have any questions or any comments for me, I would love to hear those. Okay, I'd love to hear whatever comments you may have. All right, I want to say welcome to all of my YouTube friends. How you guys doing? Hope all is well. And those of you from Facebook, thank you so much for joining me, as well as those who are on the website at cogop.com. cogop.com. Thank you as well for joining me over there, and want to say welcome and thank you guys for joining me. And we are about to get started in around 30 seconds time, and we will get started on this amazing topic. So okay, let me just get back, and we're going to get started in just a few seconds. Once again, welcome and thank you so much for joining me. My name is Errol Williams. I just want to introduce myself first of all, just as we get started. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Errol Williams, one of the founders of one of Europe's largest multi-million-pound organization that was launched by His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales. You can see in the picture there also the Atumfu Azitutu II, the king of the Ashanti tribe, used to work for us. Can you believe that? He used to be one of our employees and left to become king of the Ashanti tribe. I'm the author of 5 books, and really so grateful for these 5 books, and I hope to get a few more out shortly. I have much experience in leadership, in management training, in counseling in prisoners, senior pastor, regional overseer. I've also done a lot of teaching in systematic theology, and I've trained hundreds and thousands of managers and unemployed people around the country in different parts of the world. So it's been an amazing journey. I'm also looking to raise £1 million. So if you can help me to raise £1 million, wouldn't that be awesome? And if you can, that would be so great. And if you can, just go to those links. You can actually go to errolwilliams.org to find out more about me, who I am, and you can actually get involved if you so wish. And wow, wouldn't that be great if you were able to link up with me and yeah, do some amazing stuff. I've had the great opportunity of delivering lots of training courses for unemployed people, getting them off the streets, Got some amazing stories, in fact. So if you go to errolwilliams.org, you might actually read about one or two of those stories on that particular website. Well, that's enough about me. The objective for tonight is very, very simple. What does it mean to be assertive? I'd like you to boost your confidence and self-esteem, massively enhance your assertiveness in just this 1 hour. Looking at passive aggressive paralysis or assertive, and being able to recognize your own personal style, and learn how to be assertive in every situation, whether it be at home, work, or play. So in the next hour, I intend to share those with you, and hopefully these objectives can be achieved. When we talk about assertiveness, I want to start off with what is assertiveness, because many people get this impression that assertiveness is a certain way, but this is my definition in terms of training and teaching and developing people over the last 35 years or so. And this is a definition that I really love because it says three things. Number one, assertiveness is about stating your needs, your wants, your feelings, your opinions, or your beliefs. So it's about knowing exactly what it is that you want or need or how you're feeling and stating that. Does that make sense? Stating your needs, your wants, without getting beaten around the bush, without fear or as such, but being able to state how you're feeling, your needs, your wants, your beliefs, or your opinions. Notice now, secondly, in a very clear, direct, specific, honest, and loving way. Okay, so you're stating that in a specific way, but making sure that it's not at the expense of others. This is very, very significant, the third point. It's not at another person's expense. So you're stating how you're feeling. You make sure you state that very clearly, very directly and specifically, not beating around the bush, but you're doing so not at other people's expense. All right? Does that make sense? I will hopefully reflect on this as we go through throughout the night on this particular definition. It's interesting that assertive people, they aim to first understand other people. So I want you to think about this. Think about it from also your perspective and how you operate. Assertive people aim to first understand other people rather than trying to get other people to understand them first. So they seek first to understand other people. This is the way of an assertive person. They're putting themselves in the other person's shoes. They negotiate and reach workable compromise in most difficult situations. So it's not about them trying to win in every situation, but how we can have a win-win between the two of us. And so they negotiate and try to reach a workable compromise. And this is so significant, in fact. They are in control of how they think, feel, and speak and act. And this is so, so important. Their thoughts and the way they feel is not determined by what other people think, say, and do, but is based upon how they feel. They're in control of how they think. They're in control of how they feel, how they speak, and how they act. They're always able to say yes or no without feeling ashamed or guilty, or without having to justify their answers. And this is so, so important. When you say no to somebody or yes, you don't have to justify it. You don't have to explain any more than that. You can just say no. Someone may come to you and ask you to give them £10, and you say, no, I'm unable to do so at this point. And you don't have to go into an explanation and giving any reasons as to why. You just state your situation very clearly, and you don't have to feel ashamed or guilty about doing so. I want to speak about 4 life positions because I think this is significant, and it's important for us to understand that there are certain life positions that we adopt, and sometimes we are not aware of these life positions, and they are passive, aggressive, paralysis, and assertive, and you may have come across these from time to time. Let's deal with the passive person first. The passive person, their common phrase is, you're okay, I'm not okay. In other words, you're better than me. I'm not as good as you are. They believe that other people are better than themselves. They don't get straight to the point. They beat around the bush. They're very, very shy, easy to give up, and surrender. They spend a lot of time feeling inadequate and being depressed. They are oftentimes are the perfect target for the aggressive person. They're the perfect target for the aggressive person. Always remember this. If you're a passive person, then you're the perfect target for the aggressive person. They find you to be a joy for them because they can actually bully you and things like that. Oftentimes find themselves saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and please help me, and so on. So ask yourself this question. Are you an assertive, a passive person? Do you fit this description? Are you being bullied or taken advantage by other people? All right, let's look at the second particular life's position. And it's what I call the aggressive person. Their common phrase is, I'm okay, you're not okay. I'm better than you. They're very autocratic, find it hard to trust and listen to other people. They spend time telling off other people and finding faults. They're often very frustrated and unhappy. They have only a few friends, the aggressive people. They do not know how to cope. Listen to this carefully, and this is significant. The aggressive person does not know how to cope with or to deal with an assertive person. I want you to understand that. The aggressive person, don't forget what I said before, the aggressive person find it very easy to deal with the assertive person, but they have no idea as to how to cope with the assertive person. And that's significant, and that's very, very important. When I first discovered that, I was so excited because it meant to me that I was in control of how I think, feel, speak, and act, and not other people. And that was significant for me. Always remember that the aggressive person, inwardly, they're like, ferocious wolves. They really don't care about you. They really only care about themselves. And the three most important person in their life is me, myself, and I. Me, myself, and I. So bear that in mind, that the aggressive person is very, very much into themselves and not into other people. So you got to ask yourself the question, are you an aggressive person? Do you fit this particular description? Let's move on to the third position, which I think is the worst. And this common phrase is often said, well, I'm not okay, you're not okay. They do not believe in themselves and they do not believe in other people. This is where people become very suicidal, okay, where they give up on life. They spend time complaining, they're withdrawn, depressed, and they feel a sense of total hopelessness. It drives them to the point sometimes of suicidal thoughts. They do nothing constructive with their time and with their life. They believe the world will end soon, so why bother? Now, you may think to yourself that you know a few people like that, and sometimes we miss out a few people who we don't fit into that bracket. But there's a lot of guys, young black men I've known, who are killing each other on the streets, and they oftentimes are in this particular bracket where it's a sense of, life doesn't really matter. Why bother? And so they take the life of others. They don't really think that life is important, or even their own lives. And so they do some really weird and foolish and unwise things. And so they can oftentimes fit into this particular bracket where I'm not okay, you're not okay. The world is coming to an end, so why bother? And so this particular life position, I believe, is one of the worst life position that exists, and so on. And so you never ever want to get to that particular stage. Now, you may want to ask yourself the question, do I fit this description? Do I ever fit this description? You may not be in that description now, you might be in a different one, but do you oftentimes feel suicidal thoughts and a sense of hopelessness, withdrawn, depressed, and so on? This is something that you have to really ask yourself. Now, the final one is my favorite, and it's the one of being assertive. The assertive common phrase is, I'm okay, you're okay. They love people. They are friendly, honest, and very peaceable. Find it very easy to trust and get on with other people. They enjoy their life, their work, their friends, and their family. They're oftentimes the very life of the party. They're very pleasant to be around. They have lots of friends and are very understanding. And so it's very important for us to understand that this position is very, very important, okay? And the assertive person, very assertive, they look assertive, and they feel assertive. And so you have to ask yourself the question, which lifestyle do I adopt? Where do I live? Where do I spend most of my time? Now, I asked this question some time ago on a course, and the person turned to me and says, you know, Errol, I live at Passive Street, but from time to time I go visiting Paralysis Street. So what tends to happen, I believe, is that people tend to adopt maybe one on an ongoing basis for a very long time, and they may switch from situation to situation. It's amazing how we can be very assertive or passive or aggressive in the workplace, and then when we go home we might be something different. So the question is, where do you spend most of your time? Where do you spend most of your life? Where do you live, in other words? Which one do you visit from time to time? So ask yourself the question, am I really a passive person? Is that the feedback that people have given to me, that I'm very, very passive? Or do people say to me I'm aggressive? Or do they say, well, you're very withdrawn, very depressed oftentimes, and maybe you're in a state of paralysis? Or maybe you are very assertive. You love people, you get on with people, you listen to people, you love listening to people, and so on. But where do you live? Where do you spend most of your time? And that's important, a question that you should ask yourself. Now, let me just see if there are any questions or any comments for me, and just wanted to address any comments or any points. I want to say welcome to everyone on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you for joining us. Those of you that's on the website, if you have any questions or any comment, go ahead and put those in the chat room. Welcome to Sister Jackie and Navlet and Fee and everyone that's here. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on this amazing topic of assertiveness skills. And I want to share with you some skills which I think if you practice those and adopt those, I tell you, your life will go from victory to victory. Don't allow situations or circumstances to depress you and to have the better of you. Now, what I would say is this, is if you know that if you're an assertive person, what you want to do is build on your strength. And this is very, very important. If you know you're strong in a particular area, what you want to do is to build on your strength. Build on those areas in your life that you're very good at, build on them. You want to make sure any weaknesses that you have, that you feel, look at them as development areas, and you want to eliminate those and use those, if you like, as identifying training needs. Okay, these are your training needs that you have. And so it's important then for you to recognize these as your training needs. And this is significant, I believe, because when you look at it as training needs, you can say, well, I need to watch a video, I need to read a book, I need to go on a course. It could be a 1-hour course like what I'm having here today. It could be reading of a book, it could be watching of a video on YouTube. But you want to make sure you eliminate any weaknesses that you find within this area of assertiveness. What you want to do is take advantage of opportunities that may come up. Maybe, for example, your church or your company or your organization is putting on training programs, or they're putting on activities or events that you can benefit from. Take advantage of those. For example, I mentioned before YouTube and various different places where some of the most powerful speakers on the planet are actually giving away some free information. You want to make sure you take advantage of all of those and make sure you're there, exploit them, and do what you can to make sure that you improve and get better day by day. That's significant, and that's very, very important that you do that. All right, I really do believe that's a very, very useful tip. And if you know there are certain things that are threats to you, then do your best to remove or minimize it. Now, you may not be able to remove all threats, or you may not be able to eliminate them, 100%, but at least you can minimize them. At least you can actually take action to deal with those particular threats to you. Okay? Now, always remember, anything that's causing you to be depressed or withdrawn is a threat. And so if you know something that's causing you depression or acute stress, or causing you to be having anxiety, then that's a threat. Okay, so you want to deal with that. Either treat that as something that you need to deal with in terms of a training, but you want to make sure you take advantage of those situations. Okay, so I think that's so important for us to address and look at. Okay, so take advantage of those situations as best as you can. All right, so let me go over those again. You want to make sure that you build on your strength. That's significant. Build on your strength. Whatever you're strong at, whatever you're good at, do it more and more. Do more and more of that. Okay, whatever you're not so good at, wherever you find a weakness, see as a training need, and make sure you could watch videos. There's so many of them on YouTube, so many that you can find on YouTube and various places like that. So take advantage of those. Exploit opportunities. Now, there's so many different opportunities that you can take advantage of, so many of them, and you should look for opportunities. Look for them and take advantage of them. There's so many of them that's free, but always remember, you can always pay for some of them. Okay, it's only going to improve your ROI. Okay, your return on investment. Okay, your ROI. So by paying for a course, the advantage is going to be phenomenal. And look to remove all threats that are presented to you. All right, now let's move on a little further then, and get to some of the points I'd like to share with you tonight. Now, here are 7 skills for being assertive at work, home, or play. They will improve lives and build better relationships. Now, when I do assertiveness programs for companies or organizations, these are the 7 things I tell them. So it doesn't really matter how long the day is, whether they ask me to do it for 2 days, or for 1 week, or for 1 hour, or for 3 hours. I tell them the same thing. It's just that I tell it to them slower. All right. So if they ask me to do a 2-day program, I just tell it to them slower. So I'm going to give it to you pretty fast. All right. So get your pen out, make a note of these points, because I think that these are life changes. Number 1, first assertiveness tip that, let me just go back. The first assertiveness tip that you want to really take advantage of is to decide what to say, then be clear, direct, and specific. So first of all, you start off by making a decision what it is that you want to say. You remember what I said earlier? If I go back to one of the slides that I spoke about early, when I spoke about what assertiveness is, you remember I said stating your needs, your wants, your feelings, your opinions or beliefs, stating them. So the first tip I ever learned in about assertiveness many years ago was to first of all decide what it is that I want, decide what it is that I want to say, decide what I wanted to share, and to be clear about it, be direct and specific. So give yourself enough time to think carefully. Think about it. Take time to think about it. And when you decide to speak, speak firmly, calmly, using a reasonable tone and a steady pace. Okay? Do not be vague or rude, but be direct and be very clear. Don't beat around the bush. Get straight to the point. Let's say, for example, I wanted to speak to my wife because I needed to borrow £100 from her. I would think about it. I know exactly what I want. Okay, and I go to her and says, darling, I would like to borrow £100 from you. And I'm clear. Okay, I've given myself enough time to think about it. I spoke firmly and calmly to her. My tone was reasonable. I wasn't vague. I wasn't abrupt or rude. I was very direct and clear. I did not beat around the bush. I got straight to the point. It was very clear. She is very clear that I wish to borrow £100 from her. This tip is, a lot of people are not clear about this. They don't realize this as a great tip. And I want you to understand this is such a powerful skill. If you can, every time that you're going to present or you're going to talk to someone or share with them, follow this tip. Just practice this tip by itself. Say to yourself, I'm going to just use this tip for this week. I'm going to practice this over and over and over and over again, that I'm going to decide what I want. And when I speak, I'm going to make sure that it's clear, it's specific, it's direct, and it's straight to the point. I hope this makes a whole heap of sense to you. Now, you may want to take a picture of this. So let me move my camera from out of the way so that you could actually take a picture if you so wish to do so. I want to say welcome to Pat and Lucas. Great to see you guys, and thank you guys for joining me. If you have any questions, anyone, or comments, you can actually put those in the chat room over at YouTube or on Facebook. I want to say welcome as well to Audrey. Good evening to you as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, now let me go to tip number 2, because this tip is so awesome. Number 2, examine the response. Hey, listen to this very, very carefully. When you communicate with somebody, when you have shared with them, you were clear about what it is that you wanted to communicate. All right, you need to now go to tip number 2. You need to examine the response and make sure that you are listening. Listen. Listen actively with empathy to others. Put yourself in the other person's shoe. All right, indicate that you have heard and understood. You see, many times we are trying to be heard, and so we are giving information. But we need to stop on listen. All right. Do not become aggressive or passive. All right. Remain calm. Listen. All right. Put yourself in their position. Put yourself in their shoe. Try your best to understand. So let me tell you what listen stands for. Listen stands for look interested. All right. Look interested. This is so important. I, inquire with questions. S, stay on target. T, test your understanding. E, evaluate the message. And N, neutralize or control your feeling. So make sure you look interested. Give them eye contact. Sit up and face the person. You're showing that you're an assertive person. You inquire and ask questions so that you can get better understanding. Stay on target. Don't try to throw the person off or manipulate or sidetrack them. Stay on the subject that's at hand. T, test your understanding. Ask questions maybe like, so what you're saying is, and repeat what you understand in your own words so that the other person could say, yes, that's exactly what I mean. Or they can give you clarification as to what they mean. Evaluate the message. How do you do that? You watch their body language. You make sure you listen to their tone of voice and the words they speak. So you're observing the whole of the message. And finally, N is to neutralize or control your feelings. Oftentimes, when we become irate and upset, we actually cause communication to stop. So an assertiveness tip, an assertiveness skill number 2 is examine the response. Listen to the other side. Show that you care. Show that you're listening. Do not try to put your points across, but try to get their point. This is what this tip is about. This tip is about trying to make sure you clearly understand what they say and what they mean before you actually try to speak again. So you put yourself in the position where you want to understand what the other person is saying. I hope that makes sense. Examine the response. Listen. Put yourself in their shoes. Try to see it the way they see it. Try to understand it the way they understand it. You may not agree with them, but at least they will go away thinking, that person really listened to me. So skill number 2 is to examine the response of the other person. I hope that makes a whole host of sense to you, because this is truly, truly an amazing skill. All right. Now, this skill is developed over time, because many of us, we do not know how to listen effectively. We know how to speak, but we don't know how to listen so that we understand. And so you may have to develop your listening skills techniques. I may have to run another course. Maybe next week I'll look at listening skills, the LISTEN, and so on. I don't know. Maybe one of these courses will be around that. So let me move on to skill number 3. Skill number 3. All right. Skill number 3 is compromise. Assertive people settle differences by mutual agreement. Okay. This is significant, and I think that so many people miss the mark here. They miss really the mark, because it's not about win-lose. Okay, it's not about win-lose. Okay, I win, you lose, I lose, you win. No, that's not what it's about. It's not about lose. Okay, but it's about win. We both win. Now, I may go to my wife, okay, and say, darling, could you lend me £100? For the next 2 weeks, I'll pay back in 2 weeks' time. And so I need £100, but we negotiated, and she only gave me £20. And we both settled that £20 was what she's given me. Well, I've still won, because we have some agreement. That's the point I'm trying to make. We come to an agreement. Maybe she didn't have the £100, or maybe she wasn't willing to go down that route and give me £100. But the point here is not about win, lose, or lose. What it is here is about making sure that we both win. And that's possible. So just because I got 100%, or let's say 50% and 50%, yes, that could be looked at as a win-win. But maybe I got 30% and still feel that I've won. Okay? So the point here is that skill number 3 is to compromise. Develop and use your negotiation skills. You need to be an excellent negotiator. Be reasonable as well, and also be very flexible. So this is a skill that most people do not develop. Okay, this is a skill that most people do not develop. Every successful relationship must have these 3 C's: communication, compromise, and commitment. And so when we talk about being assertive, we're looking for a compromise. It may well be that I can't get all of what I want, or you can't get all of what you want, but can we come to a compromise? Now that's kind of cool. And so a compromise is very important. Now, I came across this quote many years ago, and I thought it was so powerful to share it with you. And it's from a guy called John Paul Getty, one of the richest men in the world in his time. He was an oil tycoon, and he said, you must never try to make all the money that's in the deal. Let the other fella make some money too, because if you have the reputation for always making all the money, you won't have many deals. This is so powerful. Now, this is coming from one of the wealthiest men that ever lived in our time. That's given us this specific advice, and I think it's one that's worth sharing with you tonight. So, compromise. Skill number 3 is to compromise. Develop your negotiation skills. You may have to go and watch a few more videos and read a few more books around this. But by negotiating and compromising and trying to reach that win-win situation that I spoke about before, not so much win-lose or lose-lose, okay? But it's about win-win. that we both come out of this situation winning. And that's possible, by the way. Well, in some cases, it may not be possible. It may not be possible, but at least you went about it in a way that was assertive, and you're trying to reach an amicable agreement between the two of you. One of the things I've seen in relationships, why a lot of relationships go so bad, is because there's no compromise. And you know, there is a statement by a prophet, Prophet Amos, when he said, can two walk together except they agree? Can two really walk together except they agree? And the chances are, yes, they may be able to walk together, but the walk may not be a very successful walk. So bear that in mind. But I think this picture of John Paul Getty is such a good one. Don't try to win all the money in the deal. You know, there are people who, when they negotiate, they want to get everything. Well, you may get everything, but you may not get the opportunity to negotiate with that person ever again. So bear that in mind, okay? Now, my tip, my skill number 4 is interpersonal skills must be used. So as an assertive person, you need to communicate and be an ace communicator. You know, you just can't get away from this. You got to be an ace communicator. So when you communicate, always remember ACE, accurate, be accurate. In other words, give the right information, be clear, don't beat around the bush. Be effective, so the information that you give is useful. Okay, it's information that is useful. Be confident, be positive. You see, it's a state of mind. Confidence is a state of mind. Being positive is a state of mind. And present yourself genuinely. Be genuine, be yourself. Don't try to be me, don't try to be somebody else, but be you, be yourself, and be as professional as you can, okay, according to the situation. Stay away from resentment, confusion, and anger. It just doesn't actually help. And control and direct your body language and your tone of voice. I spoke to you earlier about those 3 areas when we communicate: body language, tone of voice, and words. So bear that in mind whenever you're communicating with somebody else. So you must develop your interpersonal skills. The word inter means between. These are the skills that you need in order to communicate with other people. So let me say 3. Communication, the ability to communicate accurately, clearly, and effectively. The ability to listen, LISTEN, look interested, inquire with questions, stay on target, test your understanding, evaluate the message, and neutralize your feelings. And also, another interpersonal skills, the ability to negotiate. These are 3 skills that are very, very powerful if you wish to be very assertive, okay? So bear that in mind. Be confident. Remember, confidence is a state of mind, all right? It's a state of mind. So bear that in mind. Skill number 4 is develop your interpersonal skills. Develop them, all right? Work upon them. And you will get better and better and better and better as the days and the weeks and the months and the years go by. This is so, so important. Next one, do not be manipulated or sidetracked. Do not allow people. This is a skill that is so, so important. Do not allow people to manipulate you or sidetrack you, manipulate you. If needs be repetitive and persistent. Now, this is so, so important, all right? If you have to repeat yourself over and over again and be persistent, do that. That's how I am. I'm repetitive and I'm persistent, because oftentimes people are trying to manipulate me or they're trying to sidetrack me. So I refuse to allow myself to be manipulated or sidetracked in any way, shape, or form. So I make sure I repeat myself and stay persistent, especially, in fact, when it comes to dealing with things like the scriptures, the Holy Scriptures, the Bible, and so on. I'm very, very persistent, and I'm very, very repetitive, especially when I'm dealing and conversing with people, and they're trying to get me to go into other subjects when we haven't finished this one yet. Be aware of what is happening and stay away. Stay on target without being stubborn. Stay on target. Don't be sidetracked. Don't allow people to manipulate you and throw you off. Stay on. By staying on, you are being assertive. All right? Do not allow others to make you feel undermined, guilty, or patronized. Don't allow it. You know, I came across this this statement by Eleanor Roosevelt, and I thought it's such a good one to put up on the screen. He says, "No one can make you feel inferior without your permission. No one can make you feel undermined, guilty, or patronized without your permission. You have to give permission for you to feel that way." I want to say this again. You've got to give permission in order for you to feel patronized, undermined, guilty, or feeling of inferiority. You've got to give permission for that. Because remember what I said before. Feeling of guilt, feelings of being undermined, feeling of being patronized, feelings of being inferior is a state of your mind. So if you are feeling that way, it's because of what's going on in your mind. Your feelings, listen to this carefully, your feelings are governed by how you think. So if you, I think this particular point alone is worth you being here. If you're feeling really bad, you're really feeling miserable and strange, all you have to do is examine what you're thinking about. Because your thoughts leads to how you feel. That's significant, a point for you to make a note of. All right? So important. So don't allow it. Don't allow yourself to be manipulated or sidetracked. Don't allow people to make you feel guilty and feel as if you don't have any worth. No. Remember, it's a state of your mind. No one alive today can make me feel inferior, can make me feel guilty, can make me feel patronized, and make me feel undermined without my permission. I will not allow it. I refuse to allow it, because I am in control of what I think about, and that's significant. All right? That is so significant. Welcome, Audrey. Thank you for joining us. So important and so significant that you control the way you think. The wise man Solomon says, "He that has no control over himself or over his spirit is like a city that's broken down and without wall." What he's saying is, the person that has no control over how they think will be walked over, will be trampled over. So if you're feeling lousy, it's because you're thinking lousy. And the next time you feel patronized or you feel guilty or you feel inferior, so on, don't blame the other person talking to you. Blame yourself. Because it's not about what they said. It's about how you interpreted what they said. It's about how you thought about what they said. I hope that point is helpful. Now, this was a skill that when I heard it and when I was taught it, I was so impressed. I was so pleased. I was over the moon. I will never forget the role play that was done the day it was done for me. And it's eliminate negative situations positively. So deal with hostility and or criticism positively. Someone may come over and criticize you, and they may say to you, "I hate your hairstyle. Your hairstyle is ugly." And you may respond like, "I'm sorry you feel that way about my hairstyle, but is there anything else about me that you don't like?" Because the truth of the matter is, I love my hairstyle. So the fact that you don't like it shouldn't change how I feel. Because always remember this, everyone is not going to like you. Everyone is not going to be happy with you. But you got to make sure you're happy with yourself. and that you're pleased with yourself, the way you dress, the way you look. If you're happy with it, hey, good luck to everybody else, I say. Always control your thoughts, your feelings, your words, and your actions. Always control how you think. I said that before. Treat every situation in life as a major opportunity. In other words, I don't see things as problems. I don't see them as problems. I don't see them as problems at all. I see things not as challenges either. I see them as opportunities. That's how I see them, because that's what they are. They're really opportunities. And when you think of opportunities, what do you think of? When I think of opportunities, I think of the word benefit. Benefits. So I have lots of opportunities in my life that people call problems. And so an assertive person, an extremely assertive person, don't look at things as problems or challenges. They only see opportunities and benefits. So treat every situation in life as a major opportunity. I use the word major. Now, I put that in there for a reason. I put that there for a reason because the thing about it is that man born of a woman is of a few days, and those few days are full of trouble, right? They're full of trouble. And so, seeing as I have so much so-called trouble in my life, I'm going to change the word from trouble to opportunity, because trouble conjure up this word pain and so on. So opportunity conjure up the thought of benefit. So I see everything as a major opportunity. Now, you may have a struggle with that. That's fine. But whatever you can view as an opportunity, view it that way. If you have a difficulty with viewing a trouble as an opportunity, don't worry about it. You know, you may have to develop to get to that stage. Everything in my life that I see that people call trouble, I call opportunity. It really doesn't matter to me, because the thing about it is there are certain things that are happening in and around my life. I have no control over it. I can't stop it from happening. So I decided that, you know what? I'm going to change the way I think about things. I'm going to control and make sure that my mindset is very positive towards it. So eliminate negative situations positively. When people come to you negatively, be positive. I think that's what Jesus meant when he said, turn the other cheek. So when people bring negativity to you, don't see it as negative. Examine it. Examine it. Throw it out if you don't like it, and move on with what you like. One of the things I find that aggressive people hate, listen to this carefully, I take off my glasses for this. One of the things that aggressive people and passive people and people who are paralysis, they hate. Are you ready for this? One of the biggest fear, I think, or thing they hate most is is negative feedback, or what we'd call constructive criticisms. They hate it. When they get some feedback, they actually go crazy. They actually throw a tantrum. They actually go mad. They think the whole world is against them. But the assertive person loves feedback. If you find that you hate feedback, maybe you're not as assertive as you think you are. And so it's important, I believe, that we eliminate negative situations positively. Deal with hostility and all criticism positively. Always control the way you think. Always be in charge of how you think. Because, listen to this carefully. All right. I've been saying this over and over. I didn't plan to say this over and over, but this is something I've been saying over and over all particular night. Well, since I've been here. I want you to notice this. Your thoughts, listen to this carefully, your thoughts, all right, determine how you feel. Bear that in mind. Your thoughts determine how you feel, and how you feel determine what words and actions you speak or do. Bear this in mind. Your thoughts determine how you feel. Not what other people do. It's not what happens to you in life that really, really matters. It's the way you respond or react to what's happened to you. That's significant. That's very, very important. That's key to tonight's presentation. So never attack or verbally abuse the other person. You know, someone comes to you and give you some feedback that may or may not be true. Don't criticize them. You might actually stop them from coming to you next time. I've heard people say to me, I went to so-and-so, I gave so-and-so some feedback, and I'll never do it again because of the way they responded, the way they reacted. I'll never do it again. Okay? And I say to you, allow people to come to you and share with you. If you are assertive, you will open the door for anyone to come and share with you. My final skill then, and I would often say I've left the best until last, if you like, if you want for a better word, but that's not so true. It is disclose your feelings. Oh my goodness. I love this one so much because it has served me so well over the years. Disclosing your feelings is so powerful. Do not be afraid to state how you feel. Don't be afraid to tell people, you know what, I feel really lousy at this moment. I'm not happy with the way things are going. But don't use argumentative language such as, you make me angry. You are to blame. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be in this position. If I didn't marry you, I wouldn't be so unhappy. Don't use those. Those are argumentative language. Use statement like I statements. You know, I feel very angry. You know, during this marriage, I am so disappointed. Notice, you're not putting the blame on anybody. You're just sharing your feelings. It's an assertiveness skill. You know, since I've been here at this meeting, I must say that I've been truly unhappy with the way things are going. You're not attacking anybody. You're just sharing your feelings. You're sharing how you are feeling at this present moment. And listen to this carefully. You have every right to feel lousy if you want to. You have every right to feel inferior if you want to. You have every right to feel patronized if you want to. You have every right because you got free choice. But what the point I'm making is, if you don't want to feel patronized or inferior, you don't have to either. But you have a right to feel that way if you want to. So you have a right to state how you feel. But I strongly advise, stay away from those you statement. You. If it wasn't because of you. Because what you're doing there is you're putting the blame and the onus and the emphasis on the other person. And you're taking it off of you. And they now feel under attack. And so they may well attack you back. An assertive person using this skill, disclose how they feel, using I statements such as, I really am so disappointed. I'm so angry the way things are going. And you have every right to state how you feel. It is an assertiveness thing. When I started doing that and I started sharing that, I really felt powerful. I felt in control. I felt as though I wasn't really attacking anybody. And sometimes what happened was people didn't know how to respond to how I felt because I wasn't attacking them. And so they would certainly help me through the process. Now, I've shared with you 7 key skills, and here is the way to remember them. And let me take my picture away, so if you want to take a shot at that. It is decide what you want to say and be clear, direct, and specific. Okay? State it clearly. Know what you want. Know what it is that you want. Know how you feel and be able to communicate that as clearly and specifically. Don't beat around the bush. Make sure you listen to what the other person have to say. Make sure you examine what they're saying. Make absolutely certain that you are listening. Remember what I said before? Look interested. Inquire with questions. Stay on target. Test your understanding. Evaluate the message and what? Neutralize your feelings. LISTEN. Make sure you compromise. Negotiate. Remember what I said. You want to reach a win-win situation. That's what you want. Not a win-lose or lose-lose, but a win-win. You must develop your interpersonal skills. I gave you 3. Your communication skills. Make sure you develop that. Your ability to listen. Make sure you develop that. And your ability to negotiate. Okay? I think, how do you spell negotiate? Now let me rub that out and write that again. Negotiate, okay? Do not be manipulated or sidetracked. Don't allow people to walk all over you and so on and so forth. Okay? Eliminate negative situation positively. Be positive, man. Don't be negative. Open the door for people to come back to you and share with you. And always disclose your feelings. Remember, stay away from the you statements. Stay away from them, but use I. That's a powerful, powerful point. I want to say thank you so very much, everyone. I think there are some points. Let me just take them up over at I think there are some points over at YouTube. Let me just see if I can find some of those points. Let me just see it. Maybe I can put them on the screen. I don't know. Let me see if I can do that and see how we go with that. Let's see. Good evening to you also, the Right Honorable Sister Pat and Lucas. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Brother Leroy, how you doing, sir? Wish you a safe journey and hope all goes well with you and your wonderful family as well. Thank you so much. I'm going to miss you a great deal, actually, but I'll see you tomorrow anyway at the funeral, so hope that all goes well. Good evening to you, Michael. And Michael said that there was good discussion tonight regarding good and evil. That Mike is talking about the Bible studies at our local church. So Mike, thank you for that. And Michael says God created evil, creating evil. Or you're talking about the Isaiah 5:45-7. And welcome, Brother Raymond. Glad to have you guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Really do appreciate you guys being online. I like this particular quote actually by Groucho Marx. He says, I find television very educating. Every time someone turns on the TV, I go into the other room and read a book. I think that's so powerful. Yeah, I too find television very, very educating. In the last 5 months, August, September, October, November, 5 months or so, I think I've turned the TV on maybe 5 or 6 times. And it was only because Match of the Day was on. I've watched nothing else since. I just ain't got the time for it at all, really. But I think my best quote for today has got to be one I end on tonight. It's got to be Eleanor Roosevelt, the wife of one of the former presidents. It says, nobody can make you feel inferior without your permission. Always remember that these courses that I run can be run on your premises anywhere in the world. So if you want to contact me, there are my details. Go ahead and make a note of those. I want to say, well, thank you all for coming tonight. Really do appreciate you guys being here. Let me just take a note. I think it's from Facebook. So let me just, okay. Let me just take this note from Facebook. And it says, bless you, sir. You're always a blessing. Thanks for these pointers tonight. I've made my notes. You're welcome, Sister Audrey. Welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure being here with you guys. Thank you so very much. And if I were to finish off on this note, be decided. Be decided. Decide what it is that you want to say. Be firm about what it is you want to say. And when you state it, be very clear, be very direct, be very much specific. Don't beat around the bush. Get straight to the point. Don't let no one intimidate you. Okay? Don't let nobody, because it's not them intimidating you, it's you allowing yourself to be intimidated. All right? Don't blame the other person. Take the onus and the responsibility that, you know what, I'm the one that's causing my intimidation because of the way I'm thinking. Examine the response. Spend a great deal of time listening to people. This is something that I have mastered many years ago. I teach listening skills, and I am so excited that I've learned it. LISTEN, look interested, inquire with questions, stay on target, test your understanding, evaluate the message, and neutralize, control your feelings. Compromise, win-win, not win-lose, not lose-lose, but it's a win-win you want. Develop your interpersonal skills like communication skills, your ability to listen or to negotiate. You're going to need those to be assertive, all right? Very, very important. Don't allow people to manipulate or sidetrack you. Stay focused, stay on target. Don't allow it whatsoever, all right? Be repetitive and persistent, I mentioned earlier, if needs be. All right, eliminate negative situation positively. Be positive, man. Love feedback. Say to yourself every day, I love feedback. You don't have to tell anybody else. Just keep on repeating, I love feedback. I love feedback. And you will get to the stage where you gravitate towards loving feedback. Because if you are irate when people give you feedback, the chances are they will not come back to you again and discuss with you, and you won't get the opportunity of growing and developing. All right. And finally, disclose how you feel. Don't use the you statement, but use the I statement. Once again, I want to thank you so much for joining me. It's been a true honor and a great privilege of mine to share with you on this subject. I will be back here on Monday. On Monday, as you know, I do the Monday night Bible studies, and let me just put that up so you can see that. This is our Monday night show as well. So I'll be back here at 9 p.m. I cut the time now from 9 p.m. to 10:30. So it's just an hour and a half, 90 minutes, and then we do 60 minutes on a Thursday. So do join me, and on Monday I will be sending the link out throughout Monday. And always remember this. My show is always on unless something really happens, but all the links are always posted at cogop.com. You will see that at the top, okay, at the top of your screen. The link is always at cogop.com. So the link for Facebook, the link for YouTube. So if you can't find me at YouTube, you can't find me at Facebook, you go to the website, and the link for Facebook, the link for YouTube will be on the website. Okay, so it's always posted at cogop.com. My purpose is developing attitude, skills, and knowledge through learning. That's what I do best, teaching. And so I've been doing this now for almost 12 years, coming up to my 12th year birthday, online streaming, and it's been an amazing journey. And I want to say thank you to all of you, especially one of my longest serving person has been Sister Pat and Pastor Pat and Lucas. And so I want to say a big thank you to her for always being there, always on time, always there. And I'm so grateful to have you. You encourage me. You actually motivate. You actually help to inspire me more than you actually think. When I do my show, I'm thinking Pat is going to be there and Lucas is going to be there. I've got to make sure I do my very best and so on. So I want to say to you guys up there in Swindon, thank you so much. So excited that you guys have been a part of my development as we go forward. So let me again say thank you guys so very much, and a good night to you guys. A good night to you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. I have a funeral tomorrow that I have to officiate. Then we got a gospel concert on Saturday. Then we got church on Sunday all day, and then Monday with my show. So it's quite an exciting time for me, and I wouldn't want it any other way. So take care of yourself, guys. Until Monday. Bye for now. Have a great, wonderful weekend. Bye for now.